Breaking news in the MLB, as many of you guys already saw, again, another Mets disaster, and also another former Met, Pete Alonso, first baseman, is now heading to Baltimore on a 5-year, $155 million deal. So he's having around, I think, 5 years more than Kyle Schwarber, but the same year, or maybe the same amount if I'm correct on that. So he's heading to Baltimore. I have a lot to say right now. I'm out, so I'm like trying to process all this because it just happened. I'm trying to make the video as I'm out. This is really, really shocking. I mean, I can kind of see it, but let me explain. So you had Baltimore, Red Sox, and the Mets were on him. The Red Sox were somewhat aggressive, but Baltimore seemed like they were much more aggressive, which as you see now. The Mets, they were hesitant, when I've seen it, they were hesitant on giving him the money because they're like, okay, you're getting older, but we might want to put you in DH soon. Not even. So, Baltimore offered him that deal. Red Sox, I'm trying to look into that right now. It sounds like they gave him a better deal than the Mets were going to give. And the Mets were like, I think it was 3 years, like maybe one something. I don't know. It was something not as much as Baltimore. I know that. I think it was maybe less than one something. But Baltimore, you get a true power hitter in Pete Alonso, who's like really, really good. Yeah, honestly though, it's just, you get a really, really, really good hitter that definitely will be a DH more than likely as time goes on with your organization. But right now, he's your true first baseman at the moment. Baltimore, your lineup is stacked now. You definitely can compete in the AL East automatically. Maybe your pitching might be a little better, but overall, pretty good team. As for the Mets, you guys are struggling right now with trying to get people to sign. I'm going to say the fact that it seems like Mark Vientos might be your first baseman if you do not get anyone free agency right now. It looks like nobody wants to come to the Mets. Diaz left to LA. Pete is in Baltimore. Now Nimmo is in Texas. And now we're definitely not looking like a playoff team. Maybe wild card team if we do get someone, but David Stearns, what are you doing, man? Again, you lose another former Met. I get it. I understand it. Why give Pete Alonso all this money if he's aging? He's only, 3 years younger than Kyle Schwarber? And yet, Kyle Schwarber does, have a little bit more power than Pete in some way or another in certain aspects of his game. But just give the man this money. He's been a long life Met. He brought up in the Mets organization. Give him the money. Like, Cohen, come on, man. Like, you give these old aging pitchers, Max Scherzer and Justin Verlander, over $100 million to barely play and do nothing. At least Pete is always playing. Yes, he sometimes have his hiccups, but he's a lifelong Met, and you just get rid of Nimmo on top of that with a lifelong Met. When was the last time we had a lifelong New York Met? No, you had David Wright. That's it. David Wright was the only one that was a lifelong Met. And now the Wilpons were the one that's owning the team. So now it looks like the Mets are just going to be stuck with what they're going to be doing next. I have no idea. Don't ask me because I'm already pissed at the organization. I bet you Juan Soto's a little bit mad. Like, what are we doing? David Stearns, wake up, man. Wake up. And you're one of the reasons why we're in some of the situations right now. You get these players that come in and you're like, oh, let's get them. And then it's like, what? You don't analyze the locker room and how well everyone gets along. You just go by all these stats, and then look where we are now. This is why you see the Dodgers do so damn well, because they're always putting themselves into clubhouse, payroll, all this stuff. Yes, I know they have billionaire owners more than Steve Cohen, but Still, you're like second, the third, the top 5 payroll in the league. You should definitely know how to spend the money right. But I guess not. So now we just gotta wait and see what the Mets do next. Like I said, they have a lot of work to do. They have they have the first baseman they gotta worry about. They don't really have to worry about third baseman. It looks like Brett Beatty might be the third baseman this year. As for outfielding, they need to get outfielding. They need to get starting pitcher, an elite starting pitcher, and their bullpen might be some work here and there. The Mets have a lot of work. The Orioles lineup good for the hitting lineup, pitching good. I think bullpen might be a little bit of a help, but they signed a player or two already. But I think Baltimore's in pretty good position to compete with the Yankees and the other team, the Blue Jays and all. But yeah, Pete Alonso heading to Baltimore on a 5-year, $155 million. Like I just told you, my reaction is not so pretty. I'm pretty pissed off right now as a Mets fan. This is not good for the organization. I've been a lifelong Mets fan since I can remember. I think since 1999, 1998, as I can remember. I was born in 96, so been, through a lot of the tough times. And again, we're going through another tough time once again. And yeah, guys, let me know in the comments what you think about this. Do you think it's a good move for the Orioles to get him, or a bad move? And also, if you're a Mets fan, is it a good move or a bad move? You moved on to Pete. Yeah, let me know in the comments, man.